Hi Gemini, this is Teresa. Welcome to October. Teresa from Tarot by T. And before I start your reading, I'm going to create some sacred space. Okay, so I want to say thank you for liking and subscribing to my channel. Thank you for commenting, and for those of you who purchased readings, thank you, thank you, thank you. And now let's see what's coming up for Gemini for the month of October. What does Gemini need to know about love and life in October? We've got a full moon in Aries on October 5th. And this one's going to be intense because it's squared by Pluto in Capricorn. Power struggles. And then we have a new moon in Libra, which is favorable to your sign. And that could be exciting because it's connected to Uranus, Jupiter. So we might be going over the top with enthusiasm at the end of this month. This is happening in your 5th and 11th houses. So it's like the house of children and self-expression, and the house of friendships, hopes, and dreams, groups that you belong to. So it should be a social month for you, Gemini. Let's see what's coming up let's see what the cards say. What does Gemini need to know about love and life for the month of October? All right, let me do this again. I don't like the way that cut. Okay. King of Wands, the Magician, Knight of Pentacles, the Hermit, another one with the Hermit, the Wheel of Fortune, the Eight of Cups, the Tower, the Seven of Swords, the Nine of Swords, the Ten of Cups. Interesting. This is an interesting reading. Okay, so you have the King of Wands here. This is someone who could be in a position of leadership. The King of Wands can represent a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. It's someone who is very outspoken, outgoing, not afraid to speak their mind. So this person has a presence when they enter a room. So this could be a person that you're dealing with, and if it's not, it could represent qualities within you that you need to tap into. That you need to tap into your leadership ability. That you need to not be afraid to speak your mind in the month of October. The Magician is also a card about communication and visualization and believing that you have the ability to succeed. So you could either be if you're dealing with this king and it happens to be a relationship, a person that represents a relationship, it could be that this person is a good communicator or that you have good communication between you. There's good chemistry, you're sharing ideas. It could also mean that you have that you're trying to accomplish something in the month of October. You're trying to develop, and you have all the skills you need for success, but you just have to believe in yourself. You have to put your thoughts, your positive thoughts out there, because I feel like a part of you is maybe self-sabotaging with negative self-talk. The Knight of Pentacles can represent someone who's willing to do the work, a hard worker, wanting to build something, wanting to be... The Knight of Pentacles is someone who's a very dependable worker. Someone who has a dream, but is very practical about the way they want to get there. So you could be dealing with someone like this Knight, who is very cautious, careful in the way they approach things. So it could be that you're needing to focus on details. You're needing to there's just a lot of work that needs to be done before you can reach your goal. You could be dealing with an earth sign. This could sometimes represent an earth sign who might be more methodical than you're used to. Gemini is kind of like, they approach things from all directions. They're not that linear. Whereas this person, they're very structured. They have to do A, and then they have to do B, and then they have to do C. And that might drive you crazy, because you're used to like, well, I want to do A, then I want to do E, then I want to do F, then I want to go back to B, and you know, because that's how you like variety and versatility. You don't want to just do a routine, you know, you're not used to operating in that way. And so, you know, you just have different ways of approaching, of working. The Hermit could represent you're feeling kind of lonely. You've been feeling that whatever you're trying to do, you're kind of like on your own. You're afraid to ask people for help. Maybe you're even doing some soul searching about, you know, what do I really want in a relationship? You know, maybe you're trying to decide between two people, even the King of Wands and the Knight of Pentacles. This could be a person who, the kings are usually some people, represent people that are in your life that you've known for a while. And the Knights and the Pages can represent younger people, or also newer relationships that are at the beginning, you know, an earlier stage. So this could be the new person, in other words, and that could be a person that you're already involved in. So you might have been working with this person, and now you're dealing with this person. You're just trying to get your, you might be even working on something that has to do with communication, like a writing project, and you're trying to get that out, and you're trying to, you know, you have this vision, and you're trying to get it to fruition, trying to, you know, bring it out there. But you've been going through some problems here. So the Wheel of Fortune, in the past, you may have felt kind of alone, felt like there was no one you could turn to, or you're not even sure if you're on the right path. The Hermit can represent pulling away from socializing, pulling away from people, just to like going on some type of vision quest or some type of retreat where you try to figure it all out, where you start to think like, you know, what do I really want? Is this what I really want? And with the Wheel of Fortune coming up, things are changing. So if you've been going through a challenging time in a relationship or in a situation, things are going to start to change. And you may even be the agent of change, because the Tower is here. The Tower is like a wake-up call. And the Eight of Cups in your near future, you may feel like, you know, whatever I'm doing, if I'm in a relationship, it's just not working. And I need to move on. I need to move on to something that's more meaningful. If it's a career situation too, you might feel that it was once good and now it's just not doing it for me. So this can sometimes mean the Eight of Cups can be a card of moving on to something that's more meaningful. Giving up, walking away from something that you once cared very much about, but it just doesn't fulfill you anymore. So now you're looking for something else. And it could also mean a physical move. Sometimes it can mean moving to a new location, or moving away from an old location to a new environment. The Tower represents major change. It's really more of a waking up. You are waking up. So if you haven't been willing to face something, like here's the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords sometimes comes up when we're not willing to face the truth about something or someone. And then suddenly the truth is there in our face and we can't deny it anymore. So the Tower comes up. It's kind of like, okay, I see the truth now, and now I know what I need to do. The Tower comes up sometimes when you're feeling oppressed. I'm existing in this situation. I'm under all this pressure. I feel like I can't be me. And the Tower comes along and you suddenly say, I just can't take it anymore. I have to get out of here. I have to change. I have to make changes. I have to be released. And that's the kind of energy that's going to be operating at this full moon, because Pluto is involved. Remember, Pluto and Uranus have been in a tense aspect since 2008. So Uranus is trying to break us free from the old regime, the old patterns that have been in existence for so long that they feel like chains, you know. It's like being in prison, you know. And really, who is the prisoner? We are our own, we build our own prisons. So we're the ones with the key that can release ourselves. And with this card, you may just have this awakening where you say, you know what? I'm just not going to put up with this anymore. I need to do something else. I need to be happy. I need to be doing work that I love. I need to be with someone that makes me feel valued. Whether it's a relationship where you feel like you want more, or whether it's a career opportunity, you just want more, or you just can't exist in the current situation. It's just not doing it for you. So the Tower comes to bring change. It's going to bring major change. But whatever the Tower destroys, it's like destroying, it's like kind of like breaking down so you can rebuild in a better direction. And Geminis, I think, are probably better equipped than some of the other signs for change. You're okay with change. You're okay. You can roll with the punches. Because whatever's changing is long overdue, especially with Pluto. Pluto is something, represents energies that have been building up for a long time. And, you know, you keep sweeping them under the rug, and then it's kind of like the dam that has a hairline crack. And over the years, it's got this crack, and it keeps getting a little bit bigger, and then all of a sudden the dam just breaks. You know, and that's the energy of Pluto, and that's the energy of the Tower, where, you know, the pressure builds to a point where you just can't take, something's got to give, you know. So that could happen in October, where you just suddenly reach critical mass, and you go, I have to do something. I can't ignore this anymore. I have to do something. With the Seven of Swords, you may feel like, this is the Thief card, so you may feel like someone is stealing from you. Someone's trying to take something that you feel belongs to you. It could be also that you feel someone's not being honest with you. You might be asking, you know, maybe you're in a relationship and you're asking your partner certain questions and they're not telling you the truth, or they're telling you half-truths. So you have to get to the bottom of it. You have to figure out, you know, what the truth is. Maybe the truth is that this relationship just isn't working anymore, and you feel like, well, I need to move on to someone else who values me, or to another situation where I feel appreciated. And you're giving this a lot of thought. You have the Nine of Swords here. So you've been under a lot of mental stress, you know, making decisions. You know, do I stay? Do I go? What do I do? A lot of what you're deciding is going to be based on the work that you do with the Hermit. You know, you really need to do some thinking about what you need to be happy, and believe that you can get there. And sometimes the Nine of Swords can represent worry, where we think about things that may not happen. So you might be worrying about someone's health. You know, maybe you're like blowing things out of proportion. Thinking, oh, what if my partner gets sick? What if they've got a serious disease? You know, so you might be blowing things out of proportion. Maybe things aren't as bad as you're thinking, and you're just overthinking things and making it seem worse. Usually, because you've got all these sword cards, I feel, though, that the outcome is going to be better than you're thinking. So you have to start thinking positive. Because when these cards are read in the reverse, this can sometimes mean an apology that's unexpected. So if you had a falling out with someone, maybe something shocking, you know, this person may come back and apologize and say, look, I'm sorry if I hurt you. So something may happen that you're not expecting, because the end result is the Ten of Cups. So there's a lot of love here. So if you're in a relationship that's going through some kind of shock or revelation, I think that you can work things out. So don't worry too much. I think that the person really cares about you. Excuse me while I drink some water in my voice. So I think that you can work things out. And if in some cases, if you decide you want to move on, just let go. Whatever the Tower takes away, just let it go. If something is ending or something is not working out, let it go so that you can bring in maybe you have to let something go so that you can find this 10 of Cups with someone else. So you have to not be afraid of change in the month of October, because you also have this new beginning, the new moon in Libra. And the new moon in Libra is happening in your 5th house. So there could be like a new romance. So maybe like one thing ends and then another thing begins. That can happen for some people. So just don't be afraid to face the truth. Wake up to the truth. And if you need to make changes, know that you're moving in a positive direction. You're moving to something that ultimately the outcome will be positive, because here's the 10 of Cups. So don't stress. Don't stress yourself over the unknown. And if you need to communicate, use the the Magician to communicate. If there's someone you need to talk to get at the truth, because maybe you're not hearing all the facts. Maybe you're getting partial information. So you want to get the facts. So sometimes the tarot, like you hear something, a rumor, and it freaks you out, but it may not be true. So you want to talk to the source. You want to make sure that what you heard was correct. You want to make sure there were no misunderstandings. We had Neptune involved in the last moon, sun-moon configuration. And that could be a card of, not seeing clearly or seeing things that aren't there. So you want to make sure that you get the true story. And whatever the outcome is, if it means like you may have to let go of something because, it's just not working, then let it go. And know that your things are changing and that it's going to be replaced by something much more positive. On the other hand, for some of you, if you can work things out and create a new beginning, the end result is love. The end result is the 10 of Cups. So don't worry, because the 10 of Cups is, you have all this love around you and the support of your family and friends, and there are people around you who really love you. So don't be afraid of change, and don't worry. The 10 is gonna, it's gonna be okay. And don't feel like you have to struggle alone with the Hermit. Reach out to the people around you. You have people that will get you through anything. So if you're going through a difficult time, reach out to the people who love you. They are going to be there for you. And you are going to be moving on to something more meaningful. But sometimes to do that, you have to move away from something that's not working. So embrace change and know that the end result will be positive. Don't be afraid of letting go. Well, that's my message for October, Gemini. I hope this reading was a help to you. And happy Halloween. And I will talk to you again in November. Okay, thanks. Bye now.